Hello everyone, this is Shashank and you're watching iSharky. So guys, this is my first ever video on the topic of law, and from today I am going to start a whole new series on the topics of law, Indian Constitution, everything about the Indian Constitution. And in today's video we are going to talk about the Indian contract law, everything basic about the Indian contract law. Basically it is the part 1 and I will try to complete the whole topic in the upcoming part 2 video of it. So this is basically it is the basic of the Indian Contract Act, or aka the general contract. So let's get into the video. So now let's learn about the Indian Contract Act. So it was enacted on the 1st September 1872. So this was made before the freedom by the Britishers, and initially it had 266 legislatures. As you can see here, from section 1 to 75 it has the general provisions, and from section 76 to 123 sales of goods, and from section 124 to 147 indemnity and guarantee. So this is one of the important topics you are going to learn in your class of law. And here we have section 148 to 181. It says bailment and pledge. It is also a important one. Then we have the section 182 to 238. It says the agency. And in last we have the section 239 and 266, which talks about the partnership. So as you can see here, this section I have specially marked for you guys because this section was repealed in the year 1930, and a separate legislature was made from the name of Sales of Good Act. And similarly in this section, this is also repealed in the year 1932, and a separate legislature was made which is known as the Indian Partnership Act. So here I have told you all the sections which are given in the Indian Contract Act. So these are some sections in Indian Contract Act. By the way, these are not some, these are this is very huge section, and some of the sections are pretty important. As you can see, the indemnity and guarantee, and the second is the bailment and pledge are quite important. Now let's talk about the general contract. So here, if I ask you if you want to buy my iPad for rupees 10,000 and you said yes, I want to buy, and yes, this is called the contract. Here I will explain. So guys, as in this example, as I asked you if you want to buy my iPad or not, so this is called an proposal. So a proposal is equal to an offer. So when I ask you if you want to buy my iPad, so it is considered as the proposal is synonym to the offer word. When you accepted my proposal, it became the promise. For example, again, when I asked you if you want to buy my iPad, you said yes, okay, and in that case the proposal became an promise. And as you can remember, we have the consideration, as I am selling the iPad for rupees 10,000 and you were buying the same iPad for rupees 10,000. So we had the similar as well as the same consideration that we have made to each other before, that I am selling for rupees 10k and you are buying for rupees 10k. So this equality makes this a consideration, and after these three things it became an agreement. When we had the consideration, it becomes an agreement. So why not the contract? Why only agreement? We have the proposal, we have the promise, we have the consideration, then why the agreement? So let's discuss it here on the part of agreement. When you made a proposal, when it became promise, there should be a consideration. So there are also some important factors through which an agreement became a contract. So what are those factors? So let's talk about them. When you made a proposal and someone else accepts the proposal, becomes a promise, and when you agree on the same things, it becomes a consideration. Okay, if you make for example, here I was selling my iPad, and for example, if I was selling something illegal, like I am selling some drugs to you, it is called proposal, and if you are willing to accept my offer, it becomes promise. And if we agree on the same price or some same criteria of things, it becomes the consideration. So yes, it would be an agreement. Can we call it a contract? No. To make an agreement a contract, there should be a lawful consideration, and the object subjected in the agreement should be also a legal object in the agreement. So for example, if I make a bet with my sister, if I say outside and say today is very cloudy and it is probably going to rain, and if my sister says no, it's not going to rain, and if I make a bet and I said if it rains you will give me 100 and if not I will give you 100, and on that particular day there was no rain, so guys, what do you think? Do I have to really pay my sister 100 rupees? No, because this is not a contract. When we made an agreement, the agreement should be enforceable by law. If it is not enforceable by law, then it can't be considered as the contract. It would be considered as void. To convert an agreement to a contract, okay, there should be a lawful consideration, there should be a lawful object, and the agreement itself should be enforceable by law, okay, then it becomes a contract. So that's why I write down that here, that all contracts are agreement and all agreement are not contract. Let me explain it. All agreement are not contract because some agreements can be unforceable, maybe some unlawful object, and maybe some unlawful consideration. So that's why all agreements cannot be considered as contract. But as here the contract itself is enforceable by law, lawful consideration, everything lawful, that's why all the contracts are agreement. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the iSharky, and please make sure you like and share the video also with your friends. And if you learn something new from this video, subscribe it. I'm not going to say it again.